Good morning, all. I'm Dr. Suchitra. Today, I'm going to discuss about data science and big data analytics. So today's discussion topic I'm going to discuss is about big data, why we are using the big data analytics, the sources of big data, types of digital data, three V's of big data, as well as the business intelligence. So you are all seeing this picture, right? Yes. Which is bigger, elephant or rat? Yes. So elephant is considered to be the bigger. Why? Because it is huge in size. It is used to carry the loads also. Whereas rat, it cannot. Right? It is very simple. Yes. So the same way only our big data also it deals. So our big data it deals with huge volumes of data. It's your rat. It's like a traditional database when we are comparing with big data. That's it. So before entering into the big data, we'll just know about the data. So when we're talking about the data, data is important in today's world. For example, if we are taking the student data, means the student data will contain student ID, student name, age, class, mobile number, etc. And similarly, if we are taking the employee data, means we'll be having the employee ID, and similarly, we'll be having the employee name, designation, salary. This and all is considered to be the fields in the employee database, as well as the single field is considered to be the data. But generally, when we are speaking about the data, what is data, right? So the data is considered to be the raw facts, which is considered to be which considered to be a data, but it does not have a relevance meaning. Okay, so the processed data only it is called as a information. Again, for example, if you are entering into a shop, okay, so you are seeing a huge number of chocolates. So all the chocolates are mixed together. So when you want to pick a particular chocolate, it will take time. But whereas if you are organized every chocolates in its track, so if you are asking, for example, you need a Kit Kat, or if you are saying that you need a Dairy Milk, immediately the shopkeeper will be giving to us. Okay, so which means that organized data only it will be always helpful. Okay, so the organized data it is called as an information, right? So the information whichever we are getting up, I cannot use every time. So what I'll be doing is I'll need a information which is considered to be a meaningful one. So the meaningful information when I'm going to extract it, the meaningful information only it is called as a knowledge. Okay. So while we are dealing with big data, we should know about what do you mean by a data, as well as secondary the information, as well as third one it will be considered to be the knowledge. So data is considered to be the raw fact which does not have the relevance of contents. Second one is considered to be the information, which is considered to be the processed data. Next one is mining, where you'll be obtaining the proper information. Okay, so we'll see now about the big data. So, what is big data? So, big data is also a data which is considered to be a huge size, right? So big data it is also a term which is used to describe a collection of data which is huge volume in size, and similarly it will be always growing. Okay, so I cannot say that my data in 2025 it gets over. No, it is not like that. Each day, each minute, every second, my data it will be keep on increasing. So that all those data I have to put into some storage. Okay, so whenever I need to take that data. Okay, so if I'm going for the traditional databases, for example, RDBMS or Postgre, SQL, right? It does not fit for my database when I'm using the huge volume of data. So for that purpose only we are moving to the big data. So if you are seeing in short, the data is so large as well as the complex that none of the traditional database management tools cannot be able to store it as well as process it efficiently. Okay, so in simple terms, if I need to handle a huge volume of data, my traditional database system it does not support. Instead of that, I'm going for the concept which is called as a big data. Okay, so before entering into the depth, we'll just see the examples of big data so that you will be able to understand more. Okay, so this picture, it represents the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, it's generate about 1 terabyte of new trade data per day. So per day, it is generating 1 terabyte. Okay, so think that how much data it is generating. So per day, it is 1 terabyte, means just think about for 1 month and similarly for 1 year. So all these data, it has to be stored in one place. Yes. Similarly, the next example, if you're saying the social media. So the social media, it takes nearly 500 plus terabytes of new data, which is always ingested into the database. For example, it can be your Facebook or it can be the Twitter. Okay, right, every day. So that here, while we are talking about the data, it is not normally in the format of text, but it can be the format of photos as well as the videos. Similarly, the message exchanges between the persons and putting comments, everything is considered to be the data only. So this is one of the area where data is generated much more. Okay, so the third example, it is based upon the jet engine. Okay, so a single jet engine, it can generate nearly 10 plus terabytes of data in 30 minutes of flight time. Okay, so we will be able to see many thousand flights per day, and think and see how much data it will be generating. Okay, so if it is a small data, then I can able to store it in my system or in my laptop, or I can able to go for my internal server. But for large volume of data, all this traditional system, it does not useful. So for that purpose only, we are moving to the distributed system, which is mainly focused for the big data, right? So these are the examples where every day we'll be able to see the large volume of data. So now we'll seeing about the tabular representation of various memory sizes. Though you may learn in the UG as well as in your school days, but let us refresh all those things. Okay. So when I'm saying about the bit, it is equal to 1 bit. That is 1 divided by 8. That is the size. When I'm saying about the nibble, it will be taking 4 bits. Okay. When I'm talking about the byte, it will be taking 8 bits, which means that 8 bits forms 1 byte. And similarly, 1024 bytes forms 1 kilobyte. Same way, I'm having the megabyte, 1024 kilobytes is considered to be 1 megabyte. 1024 megabytes is considered to be 1 gigabyte. So 1024 gigabytes, it represent to terabytes. 1024 terabytes, it's considered to be the petabyte. 1024 petabytes, it's considered to be the exabyte, and 1024 exabyte, it's considered to be the zettabyte. Okay, so if you are seeing the size, it is keep on increasing. Yes, initially bit is 1 by 8, nibble is 1 by 2, byte is 1, kilobyte is 1024, and megabyte onwards, it is keep on increasing. Okay, so these are the various memory sizes. Okay, so all these data has to be get stored. Now we'll see about the big data analytics. So the data which are very large in size is called as a big data, right? So normally we'll always work with the data. For example, consider Word document or Excel, or if you are watching any movies or codes, it contains only the maximum GB. Okay, we can say it as a 2 GB, we can say it as a 3 GB, like that we can able to specify. But when I'm dealing with the data, which is in the format of petabytes, it's called as a big data. So it is stated that almost 90% of today data has been generated in the past 3 years. So think how they are analyzing it, right? So now we'll see the sources of big data. So where all these big data are being used up. Okay. So if I'm taking the social networking site, such as your Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, okay, and similarly if you are using the Instagram, right, X, all these things, it is considered to be the sources of the big data. Second one is e-commerce site. So e-commerce sites such as Amazon, Flipkart, right? So it generates huge amounts of logs, okay, from which user buying trends can also be traced. So e-commerce sites also, they started to use big data. And similarly, the weather station. Okay, so all the weather station as well as the satellites, it will give the very huge data which can be stored and manipulate the forecast weather, and similarly it can predict the weather after 2 months or after 3 months. Like that also the prediction also can be done. So the data which they are handling, that is also is based upon the big data. Next one is we are having the telecom company. So the telecom giants Airtel, Vodafone, okay, so they are studying the user trends, okay, and then they are publishing their plans. So all those data they have been using up, okay. So and similarly they need millions users data also to get stored. So traditional database system, that facility is not available. So the technology itself, it taken a different route where they started to use the big data. Next, last one, we are having the share market, that is stock exchange across the world generates huge amount of data through its daily transactions. So we already know that the share market. Okay. So these are the sources of the big data. Okay. Now, let us see how we'll be recognizing if it is a big data or not. Okay. So according to the computer scientist, okay, if my computer is low on memory, in order to handle this data, then I need to go for the big data. Oh, my data is over 2 TB. Where can I store all those data? It is not possible for my traditional database. Then I'll be going for the big data. Okay. Same way, statistician. So according to him, how he will be recognizing whether he has to use the big data or not. When does this calculation end? He was waiting for more than 10 years. Or dimensionality is too high. I cannot build this model by using the data. Then people can move on to the big data. Okay. So if you are taking the industry at present, industry, they are focusing only for the big data and similarly the cloud storage. Okay. So when we are talking about the big data, initially they have been supported with the 3 V's. So the 3 V's are classified as velocity, variety, as well as the volume. Okay. So when I'm talking about the velocity, it always produces the data at very fast rate. Okay. So velocity, it refers to data generating, increasing and sharing at a particular speed through the resources. For example, if you're taking the Twitter, it will be generating more than 10 terabytes of data every day. Whereas Facebook, it generates only 10 terabyte. Okay. Next one is I'm having the variety. So variety of data. Variety is nothing but different types of data. So produce data into different formats. Okay. So initially I'll be working the data only by using the Excel or by using only in the structured format. But big data, it is not like that. It uses a variety of different format which contains a text, audios, videos, XML file. Data can be in rows as well as the columns. So when we are saying about the data, our data, whichever data we are getting up, either it can be a student data or either it can be an employee data or the data which I can able to fetch from Netflix or the data which can able to fetch from e-commerce site or social that is social networking site. All these datas are classified into three types, which is considered to be the structured data, unstructured data, as well as the semi-structured data. Yes. So still now we have seen about the data. What do you mean by data? How the data has been transformed to information, from information to knowledge, and why we are focusing for big data? Because in order to handle large volume of data, I need to go for big data. Now they are coming with the 3 V's where they are specifying the variety. So the first one which we are seeing about is the structured data, which is considered to be the relational database system. Next one is unstructured data. Unstructured data means I'll be having the text as well as images as well as the audios. Next one is semi-structured data, which contains both structured as well as the semi-structured data. Okay. Next, we are having the volume. So volume, it specifies the very large amount of data to be get handled. Okay. So the amount of data when we are dealing with big data, it will be always larger in size, which is considered to be the petabytes as well as the terabytes. Okay. It will be not in the megabyte or kilobytes. If it is a megabyte, kilobyte or gigabytes, then I can able to go for the normal traditional databases, such as the relational database system, or it can be any database. But for big data, in order to handle a large volume of data such as petabytes, exabytes, then I'll be going for the big data. So apart from the three V's, we are having the another two V's also, which is considered to be the veracity as well as the volume. Veracity as well as the value. This has been added only at the last. So veracity, it is considered to be the accuracy and meaningfulness, or otherwise we can say it as the correctness of data. Okay, so it is very difficult for the persons to exact the exact information from the large amount of data. So here the veracity, it refers to the correctness of data where I can able to obtain it. Next one, I'm having the value. So accurate and required data which has the great values, which is used for the contributes in the right decision, then I will be going for this value. Next, we are having the types of digital data. So, big data means a measure of data sets that can't be analyzed, processed, or stored utilizing traditional tools. So, in a simple manner, we had been already specified that traditional tools cannot be handled the large amount of data. So, we are going for the big data. So, when we are seeing about the big data, definitely we are having the three types of digital data, which is considered to be the structured, unstructured, as well as the semi-structured. First, we'll see about the structured data. Okay. Suppose if I'm having any data that can be able to processed or accessed and stored in a fixed format, then it is called as a structured data. So structured data, it contains all the quantitative data such as address, debit or credit card numbers, expenses, contact, billing. In other words, when I'm having the data along with rows and columns, or it can be a relational database or a database which has a fixed format, that comes under the structured data. So this is an example. So if I am taking the employee table, I will be having the employee ID, employee name, gender, department, as well as the salary in lakhs. So if you are seeing it as a proper structure. So whenever I am opening the employee table, I will be having the proper structure. So the fixed format is called as a structured data. It is not necessarily it should be an employee table. It can be the student, or it can be the that is hospital management details, or it can be the patient details, doctor's details, or it can be the player details. So any details that is based upon the database which is in a fixed format, it is called as a structured data. Second one is we are having the unstructured data. So the data format which will be relatively multitude of unstructured files. For example, image files, audio files, log files, and video files. It all belongs to the unstructured data. Now in 2025, most of the data in the database, it is based upon the unstructured as well as the semi-structured data only, right? So unstructured data, example, so the output returned by Google search. So something if I'm giving in the Google search, and if I'm giving the search button, so immediately it will be retrieving it in the format of images, or it will be in the format of videos, or it will be in the format of links. Okay, so all these things is considered to be the example of unstructured data. Now we'll see about the difference between the structured as well as the unstructured data. In big data is one is qualitative and this is considered to be the quantitative. So it is defined, and whereas in big data it is considered to be the undefined. So ease of analysis in relational database system and in predefined format in normal traditional systems, whereas variety of formats which supports in big data. It is stored in data houses, whereas it is stored in data lakes. So these are the difference between your structured as well as the unstructured data. Next, we are having the semi-structured data. So data which is related based upon both the formats, that is unstructured as well as the structured data, it comes under the semi-structured data. So example, it will be the personal data stored is an example XML file, right? So this is in case of the semi-structured data. Now we'll start with the business intelligence. Okay, so first we have seen about the big data. Next, we are seeing about the business intelligence. In between, we are seeing about the data mining concepts. Okay, so all these are related. Yes, it is related. So when we are saying about the data ecosystem, the data warehouse, and similarly big data, all these three is considered to be the important one. So when I'm talking about the data warehouse, immediately your business intelligence also comes into the picture, right? So all these things are important, and all the three things are interconnected. That is your business intelligence, data warehouse, followed by the your big data. All these things are interconnected, but certain fields and all it is changing up. Okay, so business intelligence is refers to the digital tools. So the work of the business intelligence is used to collect, stores, and analyze the data product by a company's activities for decision making. Okay, so BI is a broad term which encompasses data mining, process analysis, performance benchmarking, and descriptive analytics. Okay, so this is a main difference where they are specifying about the data warehouse. So information is stored on a central server in case of the data warehouse, whereas when big data, it involves in a distributed file system, which means that my data, it is not reside in a single system, but distributedly it has been in the file system. Okay, and similarly big data, it deals with structured, unstructured, as well as a semi-structured data, whereas business intelligence analyzes structured or semi-structured data and most part of the internals to the society. The formats are mechanically less varied. Okay, so whereas your big data, it has a variety of formats, and business intelligence, it uses only the historical data to make the future decision, but big data, it is not like that. It looks for the past data and similarly the real-time data sources, and it will be predicting for the future also. Okay, so next we are having the big data solutions which bring the processing function to the data rather than the other way around. The analysis is information oriented, which is not focused of business intelligence tools, as they tend to bring data to treatment. Okay, so this is considered to be the information oriented. Now, what is the purpose of business intelligence? Everyone is saying about the business intelligence. Okay, to make a better decision in the business, they are going for the business intelligence. Okay, by using the business intelligence, they can able to obtain the accurate reports by extracting the information directly from the source data. So what are the components supports the business intelligence? That is OS, we are having ERP database, data warehouse, dashboard. Okay, more components are used for the BI, and similarly, the tools which is used to support the business intelligence are Tableau, OLAP, data warehousing, digital dashboards, data mining, MS Power, BI, Google Analytics, etc. So these are the tools which supports the BI. So advantages of using this, it is helps in making better business decision, faster and more accurate reporting and analysis, improved data quality, reduced cost, increased revenues, and improved operational efficiency. So now the industry, they started to not started, they are already using the business intelligence to make the business better. Okay, so what they'll be doing is they'll be analyzing the data, right? They'll be fetching the data. For example, if I'm giving the Amazon, so Amazon, a person is getting a shirt. Okay, so the shirt, the quality, and everything, a person is getting up. The second person is going to get a shirt. So immediately, the Amazon recommendation engine, it will be specifying the previous person has got this shirt. Again, it will be providing with the same type of shirts or with the different colors, they'll be popping out. Okay, so in order to attract the customers, so the customer who enters into the Amazon website, instead of getting one shirt, they may get the two or three. So what happened, their business is getting increased. Okay, so they are using the techniques there, and similarly they are using the algorithms in order to support it. So if you are taking the companies like Google, Netflix, Microsoft, Amazon, everyone, they are started to use the big data, similarly the machine learning algorithms in order to support for their businesses and in order to extract the informations. Okay, so these are the advantages of this. So the applied fields, social media, healthcare, gaming industry, food industry, all these areas they are applying it. So the main purpose of big data is to capture the data and it process the data and it will analyze the data to improve the customer outcomes. Okay. So the components which supports the big data, it is called as a Hadoop, Spark, R server, Hive, HDFS as well as we are having the peak. This all is considered to be the components which supports the big data. So Hadoop is one of the important component which supports the big data because Hadoop is considered to be the distributed file system. It does not reside in a single server. So all the data is considered to be distributed and it is considered to be the scalability. So one of the biggest advantage of big data is considered to be the scalability. So scalability, what it will be doing is there are two types of scalability. One is considered to be the vertical and second one is considered to be the horizontal. Vertical means I can able to add the hardware, whereas the horizontal means I can able to add n number of nodes. So I can able to add the nodes as well as the clusters. So this is the biggest advantages in the big data and Hadoop it supports for that. Okay. So next we'll see about the benefits. So if I'm using this big data, these are the benefits as an end user I'll be getting up. One is better decision making, fraud detection, storage mining and analysis of data, market prediction, improves of service, helps in implementing new strategies, keep up with customer trends, and similarly the cost serving, better sales insights which helps in increase in revenues, etc. And similarly, the big data is applied in banking sector, entertainment, social media, healthcare, retail, as well as the wholesale. Okay, so all these areas of big data is used. Okay, so I'm not talking about in the years of 1980 or 1990 where we are using only the RDBMS or where we are using only the traditional database systems in order to store the data. So each day, as I said earlier, each day, each second, each minute, our data is growing up. So traditional system, it does not able to fit the all those data. So for that purpose, they are being changed into the new technology wise where they can able to store a huge volume of data. That's why the big data is came into the picture. And now the most all the industries they started to use the big data. Okay, so these are the keywords which we have been seen in today's class. There is big data, data, velocity, veracity, value, e-commerce, social website, as well as the business intelligence. Right? Thank you.